Hello world, Pete here, and I recently built an OP moss farm in my 9750-day hardcore Minecraft world. The rates are insanely good, but there's one small problem with it. Some might say that it's not the world's largest moss farm, but really, who cares? No, the problem is it looks hideous. There's no decoration, and I absolutely refuse to build farms that just sit there with no decoration. So I set about transforming it into this giant mossy tree. Before I show you how, remember that the like and subscribe button exists, so feel free to press them. I began by building the trunk of the tree using dark oak, in my opinion the most versatile wood. I wanted to make it a little bit different from the stereotypical tree because defying stereotypes is fun, and also a solid trunk would make it impossible to access the storage chests within. So I made a bunch of mini trunks surrounding the chest room, converging just below the moss farming unit, sort of like buttress roots. Then came the fun part, actually making this look like a plant and not just a bunch of blocks floating next to my moss farm. So I filled in the gaps with azalea leaves and moss, the latter providing some much needed texturing and ensuring that I would have greenish blocks to hang stuff from, because you can't hang glowberries from leaves, and I want some glowberries. I also splashed on some vines and glow lichen because no tree is complete without that stuff. It really adds a sense of depth and texture. With the trunk covering up my moss and bone meal pipes, I surrounded the farm with some branches that I unfortunately don't have any footage of me building, but I figured I'd show them since they're an integral part of the build. This basically forms the skeleton of the tree itself, complete with fences and buttons for decoration, as well as a bunch of mini branches made of fences and moss carpets. With this skeleton, I began the long and arduous task of filling in everything between the branches, using that same mixture of moss and azalea leaves, with some flowering azalea leaves in the mix, since I had some. I had to take special care around the moss farm's lava, and only use moss since leaves would burn away, leaving behind a hideous mess. I also had to take care to cover every single moss block in carpets on both sides, otherwise these pernicious nuisances would just spawn and steal bits of my tree. Can't have that. But as I've said before, I'm not a big fan of dark builds, so this tree had to be lit up. I stuck a bunch of shroom lights inside the tree where their harsh orange would be filtered by the leaves and not clash so much with the rest of the color scheme. Meanwhile, on the outside, I hung a bunch of more agreeably colored cave vines from the underside. Again, no tree is complete without these things. They're the best thing to come out of 1.17. With that out of the way, I had to finish the top part of the tree using a block pellet that I'm sure will surprise absolutely no one. I lit it up with some extra shroom lights since I couldn't really make cave vines grow out of the top of the tree. But I did manage to add a smattering of warped vegetation on top for a bit of extra color, including some of these nether sprouts that no one uses for literally anything. That being said, the sides were definitely missing something, so I bit the bullet and went around adding a shit ton of normal vines and glow lichen. Yay, lights. Of course, those vines would be a pain later. I also needed a way to turn on the farms without going deep into the innards of the tree, so I added these convoluted switches to turn them on from the ground level, and covered the redstone in vegetation to make it look like a natural part of the tree. But I'm not sure what part it would even be. This isn't really an IRL plant, I guess, something I just made up by letting my imagination run amok. Anyway, I figured that mirroring the structure on all four sides would make it look more natural and disguise its true purpose, so that's exactly what I did. I guess they can be more giant buttress root things. I also surrounded the base of the tree in moss carpets to make it look more natural and less like it was just floating in the middle of an artificial room, which, spoiler alert, it absolutely is, though the footage of that is mysteriously missing as well. Also, I added some more light fixtures that were important because they're in every other tower of this kind in Void Station, and I actually do have some footage of that, so why not throw it in? At this point, there was only one thing left to do. The vines had grown immensely by this point and were starting to look a bit shabby, so I had to grab a ton of string, the only way to stop vines, sadly, and run around trimming the vegetation. I also had to trim the cave vines. They were getting a bit out of hand too, but at least I could use shears for those. And with that, my moss farm is complete. Let's take a look.